intriguing, dark, twisted story. It was great. See this movie. However, everybody, this video does once again bring us down here into the library because it is time for some more reviews. We're going to take a look at the latest 5 titles I have recently checked out, and I will give you guys my quick-ish thoughts on each one of them. So let's dive in and let's take a look at what it is I've recently been checking out. Alright, so first movie here was Long Shot, and in a world dominated by mediocre comedies, I was really not expecting pretty much anything from this movie. I kind of went into it thinking I'm going to come out of it with just a feeling of, that was okay. Maybe it kept me entertained for the hour and a half, but in the long run, I'll probably never pop this one in again. But I was kind of surprised. This actually turned out to be an above average comedy, and not high above average, but just slightly above average, to the point where I would probably actually pop this one in again and rewatch it in the not too distant future. So I actually really enjoyed this one. It was very funny. Seth Rogen, Charlize Theron played great against each other, which also kind of had me a little worried. I wasn't quite sure how they're very conflicting, different styles of acting, and I don't know. I don't really put they're not two actors I would put together normally in my head. So I was a little like, how are they going to play together? And they played beautifully together. It actually worked out really well. So if you're into modern day comedies, this is actually one I would say was worth checking out. It was an interesting story about kind of a nobody, but a nobody who has some integrity and actually is kind of good at what he does, and then meeting up with somebody who is essentially going to be running for president, and them trying to get along and butt heads at times, of course, because one has, you know, the integrity and one says they have integrity but then wants to be president, so maybe put some of that integrity aside to become president, and you know, the whole conflict that happens between them with that. So it was a really interesting story. I mean, for what it is. I mean, it's just a comedy, but it worked. It actually really worked out, and I would say that even though it wasn't anything above and beyond and amazing, and I'm not saying this is one of the funniest movies ever made, I would say that, again, in a world of just mediocre, bland, just run-of-the-mill comedies, this one does stand out ever so slightly. So, like I said, if you're a fan of comedies, especially modern-day comedies, this is actually one I'd say is worth seeing. Okay, so I should probably save this next movie for last, because this is the movie that's going to get me the most flack and probably get the most comments for, and the most outraged for, out of everything I've watched in this video, and probably everything I watched for this entire year. I can tell you this is the one that's going to really set people off. It already has. I've already mentioned kind of my thoughts on this movie briefly in some other videos, and people did not take kindly to it. Joker. Okay, first, let me start off by saying, and please pay attention, everybody. Please, are you listening? I liked this movie. This was a great film. Very, very enjoyable, fantastic story. I highly recommend this one. If you want to see this movie, yes, see it. Please see it. Even if you think, I don't want to see this movie, I don't care. Go, see it, buy it, rent it, whatever. Check this movie out. It was great. Highly recommend it. Fun, awesome, intriguing, dark, twisted story. It was great. See this movie. However, I didn't come out of this one with quite the feeling that a lot of other people did. So many people are saying this is like the greatest movie ever made. Greatest, you know, comic book movie ever made. Best movie of the year. Best movie of their lives. I've already heard people say this is their all-time favorite movie, which really boggles my mind. And if that's the way you feel, fine, no problem. More power to you. You know, to each their own when it comes to movies. But for me, I really like this movie, but it just didn't blow me away. I kind of went out of it thinking, that was really good, but not anything phenomenal. And part of my problem, I think, and I don't even know, I've been trying to analyze this one in my head ever since I watched it, why maybe I didn't like it as much. maybe if I honestly don't know, but maybe I would say it's because it is the Joker. Maybe I'm just so used to a certain type of Joker that maybe for me, it was even though it was a great story, but had it been a great story about just some random person, I maybe would have enjoyed it a bit more. But because it was a story that featured the Joker, that I kind of was just like, it was good, but it wasn't quite maybe what I wanted. I just gotta say, as much as I love Joaquin Phoenix, not my favorite Joker. But I mean, that could possibly change, and I'll get into that in a little bit. So yeah, the story was great. It was really interesting to see this descent into madness. This guy who clearly has these issues, and you realize where these issues stemmed from as well. And then watch him just get more and more and more crazy until the big payoff at the very end. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. Something pretty nuts happens, which is crazy at the end of the movie. It's very interesting to see that. A great descent into madness, great look at mental health and whatnot. Again, fantastic story, but just I don't know, maybe because it was just the Joker. I honestly don't know if that's even the reason. I don't know what about this movie just didn't make me love it nearly as much as everybody else does. But like I said, it's a to each their own. There are movies I love that other people don't love. There are movies like Joker that a lot of people like that I just kind of thought was good, but not, not phenomenal. But what I say as far as Joaquin Phoenix playing the Joker, maybe he could be a Joker I love. I don't think we're getting a sequel to this. I've been told we're not getting a sequel to this movie, but I almost want to see a sequel because towards the end of the movie, he actually starts to maybe kind of become the Joker I want, where he, self-realizes who he is as the clown prince of darkness and whatnot. And I want to see this great Joker character, and it would maybe make me enjoy this movie more if we got to eventually see another movie where he was playing the Joker, the typical villain Joker. And this was just his origin story. I would have kind of liked to, that would make me probably like this movie more, because I maybe would really start to like his Joker, more if we saw his character expand more into another movie. But again, I don't think we're gonna get that. I've been told we're not getting a sequel. Apparently, Joaquin Phoenix does not want to do a sequel at all. I mean, maybe if Warner Brothers throws enough cash at him, because I mean, this movie did very well, obviously, and I'm sure Warner Brothers really would love to do a sequel. I'm sure they would love to do 50 more Joker movies if they could. So I don't know, maybe we'll get one, maybe we won't. I kind of hope we do, because I want to see where this character goes. I want to see how Joaquin Phoenix portrays the actual character of the Joker, not the guy who's becoming the Joker, but the actual Joker. I really want to see that. I'm kind of hoping for maybe like a Jack Nicholson type thing, where I always love the Jack Nicholson character. Probably my favorite Joker, where 1 minute he's kind of cool and normal and fine. He's just talking to you like a normal dude, and then bam, snaps and goes all nuts, and then bam, back to normal again. I always love that kind of a Joker. Don't get me wrong, the crazy, wild, always over the top Jokers are fun too, but I like the idea of a Joker who is 1 minute kind of normal and the next minute, badass crazy. I love that. So I'm kind of hoping for maybe that. One thing that bugged me about this movie, I love the idea actually of him laughing. I like the idea he has that condition that makes him laugh all the time. I think that's a good idea, because Joker, he's always laughing. It's a good idea. It kind of explains why the Joker's always laughing. I like that. Good idea. I hated Joaquin Phoenix's laugh. That is the one part of this movie I will say I hate. Hate is his laugh. It's bad. I don't get it. It sounds like he's faking it. In fact, when the movie first starts out, it starts out with him laughing, and I thought, oh, is he I thought they were gonna pan back and he was gonna be auditioning for a role or something like that. He was trying to do all these different kinds of fake laughs. But no, that's apparently his actual laugh, and it sounds bad. I don't know. Maybe I'm sure I'm gonna get comments. Oh, well, he's laughing like that because of this, and because I don't care what the reasoning is behind it. I don't like it. It's not a good laugh in my opinion. I want a better Joker laugh. So I gotta say, if there's one thing about this movie I absolutely hated, it was that. I did not like his laugh. So again, not my favorite Joker, not my favorite portrayal of Joker. But it could become my favorite portrayal of Joker, one of them anyway. If we got to see the story expand and we got to see where this character goes and who he actually becomes as the actual Joker. So yes, I like the movie. It was great. See it. It's fantastic. It's a really good movie. Deserves the praise it gets. I just don't think it deserves quite the praise it gets. I don't think it was as good as some other people say it was. But still, it was a fantastic movie. It's so hard for me to tell you guys and describe to you guys like my thoughts on this movie because I just don't know. I'm not even 100% sure what it is about it that just didn't blow me away. I should probably watch it a couple more times and maybe give it a few more reviews and let it sink in a little bit more. But in the end, again, I thought it was great. Recommend it. Check it out. Definitely a good movie. Great comic book movie. Great, to get Descent in the Darkness, a look at mental health and somebody going completely crazy. I love it. But in the end, maybe it was just because it was the Joker that it didn't really blow me away. Maybe had this just been just some random dude, a story about just some random guy going crazy, could have been a lot more interesting. But the Joker, my all-time favorite comic book villain. I don't know. Wanted to see him maybe portrayed a little bit differently. But like I said, if we ever get a sequel, maybe we can see him portrayed the way I want him to. I don't know. So, I don't even know what to say anymore. This is why I don't like reviewing movies, because there's so much I want to say, and I don't know how to say it. Go ahead. Leave all the hate down below. I know. It's the greatest movie ever made. You're an idiot. Why don't you like that movie? I did like the movie. Just maybe not as much as you. All right, so enough of the Joker. Let's just talk about an actual joke now. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Oh, dear Lord. Yeah, Tim Burton. I mean, there you go. You want to talk about Tim Burton, my all-time favorite version of Joker, which, again, is Jack Nicholson. I mean, wow, what a fantastic movie that is. A great Tim Burton film. This is not one of those. My son, just for school, had to read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. He had to read it. Well, we had to read it to him. He's like 5. He can read, but not read. So we read the book to him, my wife and I, and he loved it. And I was like, there's movies, right? And he was very interested in seeing them. I let him pick out which one he wanted to watch first. I was hoping he would say Willy Wonka, but no, he chose Charlie first. So we watched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And I try to nail it into his head that this is not a good movie. The next one we're going to watch, oh yeah, spoiler, this is what we're watching next. The next one we're going to watch is so much better, such a more phenomenal movie. And hopefully, I don't know if that actually sunk into his head or not, because I think he's actually watched this a few times now, and that's kind of disturbing. I don't know. But anyway, so Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. What can be said about this movie? It's not good. The music is garbage. It is some of the worst music I have ever heard for a movie whatsoever. The lyrics are just, it sounds like a 5-year-old wrote the songs. I don't like Johnny Depp in this movie. I love Johnny Depp. I'm a big Johnny Depp fan. There's some people who don't like him. Some people do. I like Johnny Depp. Not in this movie. I don't understand his whole, Michael Jackson take on Willy Wonka, and from what I've told, I believe I heard it in an interview. He literally came out and said, "Oh no, I was trying to go for like a Michael Jackson type thing." I don't get it. I don't like it. He annoys me. The only thing I would say is kind of good about this movie is actually they kind of make Willy Wonka disturbing in this, and much more so than than Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. There are just looks he gives and smirks and things he says in this movie that I'm like, geez, this guy's like a complete psychopath. So I will give that movie credit for this. There are times in this movie that actually made me laugh for the wrong reasons. I'm laughing because I'm like, oh my gosh, did he really just say that? Or did he really just smile? Or did he really just do this thing to this kid? It kind of cracks me up, again, for dark humor type reasons. So I did like the movie for that. That's the one thing, that's the one kind of shining star, I would say, on this movie, is the fact that they do make Willy Wonka really dark. And I kind of like that. But otherwise, I hated the Oompa Loompas, and I hated the music. Just the way the story was told in general, it it just was not a very good take on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So I guess they tried to stay more truthful to the book. Although with that being said, I've read the book now, and I would say that, you know, even though they did put things in this movie that were in the book that maybe were left out of Willy Wonka, there were also things they left out of the story and things they added to the story, and definitely stuff that made it not exactly like the book. So I can't even say they tried to stay more truthful to it. They just sort of added more things and took out other things. So in the end, probably just as truthful to the book as Willy Wonka was. So, just no. I really do not care for this movie very much. I'm going to say this is not one you need to see. However, a movie you do need to see, and I'm sure probably all of us have, and if you have not, as soon as you're done watching this video, please finish this video first, go out and get this movie, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Oh my gosh, is this ever just such a fantastic film. Maybe I'm looking at it with rose-colored glasses. I don't know, but I've loved this one ever since I was a kid. Just the colors, the songs. This is one of my favorite soundtracks. I have this soundtrack on my iPod. I listen to this and sing along with it in the car occasionally because it's such a great soundtrack with some fantastic music. And watching the documentary on this, apparently at one point, it wasn't even supposed to be a musical. So I'm glad they went down that road. It is great. Gene Wilder is phenomenal in this. He plays a great Willy Wonka when he goes, you know, big and bad and crazy to when he's being kind and gentle and nice. I mean, this is so great. Yes, maybe they do spend a little bit too long with Charlie Bucket in the beginning of the movie. I will give it that. There's a lot of Charlie and his family in the beginning of this movie. They do spend a lot of time on them, and before they really get to the whole Willy Wonka thing, perhaps fine, okay, maybe cut out Cheer Up Charlie, not one of my favorite songs from this movie, but regardless, it is still brilliant. It is so great. Gene Wilder, one of Gene Wilder's best roles ever. He nails this character. I love it. So, yeah, you gotta see this movie. If you have not seen this movie, but I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure we all have seen this film. But if you haven't, for some crazy reason, see Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Stay far, far away from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But again, watch Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It is great. The music will be stuck in your head. I mean, literally after I was watching this for probably like a week later, I just could not stop singing all the songs. I just over and over again in my head, I just kept thinking of the songs. And I will give it this, even though I have a fear that maybe my son liked Charlie and the Chocolate Factory more as a 5-year-old, maybe he liked that movie more. I will say this, even he for like a week later was singing these songs. So whether he liked Charlie better than Willy Wonka, at least I can tell you that the music in this one definitely stuck into his head. So Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, I mean, it's one of the greatest movies of all time. See this one. And that brings us to the last review of this video, The Kid. And I love Westerns. I don't know why I do not watch more Westerns, because every time I do, new, old, whatever, I am in love with them. The ambiance and the scenery and the characters and everything about Westerns, I can get really, really into. I have seen many movies that aren't actually Westerns, but just happen to take place in the Wild West, and I end up really, really liking them. So, yeah, I gotta start watching more Westerns. I have a lot in my collection I have not yet got around to watching. I will be doing that soon. So, The Kid, I loved it. It was great. All about this kid who has a dad who's not exactly the nicest guy, kind of deserves what is coming to him, and I won't get into it too much, but let's just say him and his sister end up having to go on the run, and they actually end up meeting up with Billy the Kid and Pat Garrett, who's chasing them down, and they get kind of tangled up with Billy the Kid and that whole craziness, and then him and his sister get separated, and now he's trying to find his sister because his uncle is taking her, and the uncle's not very nice either. So he's trying to find him, and Billy's kind of helping him out, and Pat Garrett's, also kind of not a, he's not a bad guy. He also sort of wants to help out, and this kid is also helping out Billy the Kid throughout his escapes and all kinds of things like that. If you know your history of Billy the Kid and Pat Garrett, there are lots of scenes in this movie that you're going to know kind of how they turn out. It's really cool to see them turn out, with this kid helping and whatnot. So, great Western. I would recommend this one. It was, I mean, okay, it's not nothing above and beyond. I'm not saying this movie blew me away. I'm not saying this is the greatest story ever, told. But if you are a fan of westerns, if you like the characters of Billy the Kid and Pat Garrett and their craziness, that whole story, this is one to see. I would definitely recommend The Kid. It was a great watch. So yeah, if you're a fan of westerns, you should see this one. All right, guys, there you go. Those are my most recent reviews for you. I cannot wait to read those comments down below to hear what you guys think about my thoughts of Joker. Again, I liked the movie. It was great. I loved it. Fantastic film. Just not as good as some other people might say it is. I still liked it, though, so don't hate me too much. I still think it's a really, really good movie that everybody should definitely 100% see. It's just not my favorites. But anyway, guys, so I'm scared. Anyway, so that's it. So as always, thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and of course, check down below for links to Patreon, where you can help support the show, get early access to my videos, and get your name in the credits of my videos. Spreadshirt, where you can grab yourself Cinema Sickness t-shirts and all kinds of cool Cinema Sickness gear. And as always, most importantly, check down below for a link to the Cinema Sickness store. It came from Cinema Sickness, where you can pick up all kinds of awesome media, retro toys, collectibles, stuff like that. Proceeds from the store are, of course, the most important for the show. They really are to keep the show going. So again, guys, that is it. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Don't hate me too much. Again, I like the Joker. I'll see you guys later. Ugh. Bye. Wait a minute, hold on, no, back away from the keyboard, do not leave a comment. Again, I liked Joker. It was good. It was a great movie. Jeez, you people.